Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Indiana Jones Cryptic, a Pathways and Puzzles adventure by Funko Games.
Indiana Jones Cryptic is a first entry in a new series of games from Funko Games, the Cryptic line of games. Now these are going to be escape room, puzzly riddle type games, but they're going to have a twist to them with the pathways aspect, which is going to have you drawing on gameplay components, trying to dexterity-wise maneuver your pen through a particular maze of sorts. I'll show you an example down below on the table to give you an idea without spoiling too much of this particular game. And obviously this has the Indiana Jones licensing to it. So you're going to play as Indiana Jones as you work yourself through the first three movies. And you'll be solving puzzles and working through pathways along the way. Let's go down to the table. We'll show you how some of the game works, and then we'll come back and share thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, on the table I have Indiana Jones Cryptic, a puzzles and pathways adventure. Now, I am going to start this off by saying I am going to show you some minor gameplay elements with this game, and so if you don't want to have anything spoiled whatsoever, then you'll want to go ahead and fast forward to our thoughts and opinions on this game. What I am going to show you in this portion of the video, I'm going to show you the pathways part of the game. I'm not going to show you any of the puzzles, not going to ruin any of that for you, just the pathways. So if you're okay with me showing you that, then go ahead and stay on this one. So with this game, you are going to have three different envelopes, and the envelopes look like packages that have been mailed to you at your college. You're Indiana Jones in this game. And this particular one is the Covenant of Raiders after the first movie. So that's what you have here. Now, if you want more detail about what all the gameplay components look like, without being spoiled or anything inside the envelopes, check out the unboxing video that we did by clicking the eye in the top right corner. Now, with this game, you do have this field book, this journal here, and this is Dr. Jones's journal, and you are going to be using this. I'm not going to show you anything specifically of what's inside this, but this is going to be your guide as you work through all three envelopes. All the puzzles are going to be described in here. All your hints, all your answers are going to be in this booklet here. And so you'll be looking up things in this book quite often throughout the course of the game. And the way it works is each puzzle, each pathway is going to award you a number of coins, and the number of coins you get is determined on how many clues you take, or if you even take the solution, then you won't get any coins. And you're trying to earn as many coins throughout the entire adventure, and that will determine how well you do at the end of this. You do also have some dry erase markers, which I'll show you what you do with those right now. So here is an example of one of the pathways, and this is the famous boulder escape scene from the first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And so you are going to elect someone to be the person who gets to do the pathway, while the other players look up in the book what they are supposed to be doing. And sometimes it's pretty obvious, sometimes not so much, but obviously with this one, you need to guide Indiana Jones from the boulder, getting him to this box down here. There's a dotted box on every single one of these pathways, and that is your goal. That's what you're trying to get to. And you're trying to avoid certain traps or pitfalls or walls or obstacles. And in this particular one, obviously you want to avoid the holes that are in the floor here, but you also need to avoid the walls. You're going to be starting wherever the dot is, and you're going to be working yourself through the maze trying to get to the box. Sounds easy, right? Well, that's because we have the picture behind the screen. How you would do this, taking out one of these dry erase markers here, you fill in the bubble, you make sure these are lined up appropriately, and you fill in the bubble, and that determines where the person starts. Then you take the screen off of the board here, and you set them about a marker's length distance apart, and then that person has to use their powers of observation and depth perception to draw a line on their board, hopefully getting to where they need to be and marking an X, that's a horrible X there, but it's supposed to be an X, where they think they would be ending in the box. And as you can see, mine is not going to line up well at all. It's going to fall into a pit for sure. But I did get in the box, so there's that. And I'm not going to show you the back side of this because that will spoil this particular pathway for you. But on the back side, everything is color coded. Anything in green is a good place for your line to be. Anything in red or yellow is not so much. So these pits here are going to be red, and if you went into the red, that's not going to be good. If you hit the walls, you went into the yellow, that's not going to be good as well. And in the booklet in the back, it tells you what your penalty is for having hit any yellow or red, or if you missed the box entirely, that's going to cost you some coins as well. And so that's how these work. The red marker here is going to come into play later on in some adventures when you start using other gameplay elements, little knickknacks and pieces that you will be using to kind of jump over certain parts, certain holes in the board, and maybe you're using a weapon of sorts to try and attack other people, and you need to draw a line to make sure you hit that person. That sort of idea with the red marker here. Anyhow, that's how the pathways work, and that's all I'm going to show you here with Indiana Jones Cryptic. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Indiana Jones Cryptic. I'm just going to leave it at that. Not going to go the full name there. We got that at the top of the video. That's a mouthful. So we've done a lot of escape room type games before, and we've come across some very interesting ones. I think this is unique with the pathways aspect tied into it. Nothing I'd ever seen before done in a board game. What did you think about that?
I really did like the pathways aspect of it. It was very unique. I thought I was pretty good at it.
You were 100 times better than I was. I stink at the pathways.
I really, and I don't know, I guess once you find something like that, I ended up doing all the pathways for the games. And I did like that a lot. I've never seen something like that in a game before. And
not only is it unique, but it is super thematic because every pathway you do in this through the first 3 movies are major scenes of the movies. You'll recognize.
Maybe that's why I was better at it because I haven't seen the movies.
Well, you haven't seen the movies. I love the movies. I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan. Can't wait for the 5th movie to come out later this year. And I loved that aspect of working through this particular iconic scene from a movie that I love and trying to avoid these traps or the walls or whatever the case may be. I thought that was really cool. Really enjoyed that. And that part of the game is replayable. You can replay that aspect of the game over and over and over again as much as you want until you get tired of it. The puzzle side of the game is not replayable. I mean, obviously you solve the puzzle, you'll know the answer to how to solve it again. The game is resettable, and so you can reset the game and let somebody else play with it, or kind of be a games master as other people play it with you and that sort of thing. But it's not replayable, that aspect of it. So let's talk about the puzzles with this game. What was your experience like, knowing that you've played some other escape room type games?
I mean, we do enjoy escape room type games, and I will say one of the best aspects of those types of games is that aha moment when you figure it out. And I feel like this game didn't quite deliver on that.
Okay.
I feel like the puzzles were really unique and I could see the direction they were going in, but most of them, or a good handful of them, we would end it and we were kind of like, is this it? Did we get it? There just wasn't a certainty. There wasn't a for sure. And I just felt like they were just a little bit weak.
Okay. I will agree with Sam on that for, I'll say like 90%. I'll agree with her on that because I do feel like there were a good number of the puzzles that could have been a little more resolute or could have been a little more...
Just the directions maybe a little bit more clear.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
at least one where we were just not sure what the directions were saying.
Exactly, yeah. There was one that I don't know that we would have ever figured out without having looked up the answer. Now, I don't think that breaks the whole experience for me because I can honestly say that most escape room games we play, we always seem to come into a roadblock where it doesn't feel like we can get through it without checking the rule book. And maybe that just means we're not great at escape room games. I don't know. But this game, I felt like this game did have that be a little bit more of a concern than some of the other games out there. Now, what I'll also say about this game, though, is that the degree of difficulty on these puzzles varied drastically. There were some puzzles that it felt like, wow, that was really easy. There were some puzzles that were like we've been saying, we don't know how to answer this because we just kind of didn't feel like they had good direction. And then there's some really good puzzles wrapped up into this as well.
It was almost like different people wrote different aspects of the puzzle. They were different authors.
Well,
different.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it for sure.
Yeah.
And I do like the innovativeness that they did with the puzzles, because some of them are straight out of the movie, and you get a good thematic sense of that. And then some of them are new that weren't in the movie, but you could really kind of see where they got the idea for throwing it into the game. I enjoyed that aspect of it. It added a new, fresh, like, side story to the main story of the game. So thematically, everything was great. The components are fantastic. You do have a lot of unique pieces that you're gonna have fun manipulating and playing with this particular game. It's just the pathways part of the game, I think we both agreed, far outshined the puzzles aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to say I wish it would have been the other way around.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that.
I mean, I did like the pathways aspect of it a lot, but if I'm going to play a escape room type game, I want the puzzles to shine.
Right.
That's the best part to me.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, so I think we've said quite a bit about this game, so we're going to keep the pros and cons pretty short on this one. But for you as a non-gamer, what makes this game great?
I mean, the pathways. I just think that's a unique aspect, and it was really fun. I could see that gameplay being part of other games as well. I think that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's an innovative new twist on dexterity that I don't think we've ever seen. And on it, again, too, I think it's something that anybody can do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can even have your 8-year-old do that part of the game if you're playing with your kids.
Yeah.
So, anything else that stands out great?
I mean, I will agree that there's a lot of good components to the game. It's well made.
Yeah, for sure. Theme-wise, 100% knocks it out of the park. I enjoy that aspect. I know she doesn't care about it, but if you love Indiana Jones, you're gonna you're gonna recognize everything in this, and it's going to be fantastic for that aspect. What doesn't work so great?
I was not overly impressed by the puzzles. I kind of let Lance take the reins, which was fair because I was taking the reins on the pathways. So if you're wanting to play that way, then it might work better. But I just wasn't overly impressed with the puzzles.
Yeah, I'll agree with that too. For the most part, there were some that I was really, really kind of impressed with. But more of them, I kind of wish there was a little bit better direction or just something more to it.
Yeah.
I'll say, we haven't mentioned this just yet, another pro for this game, you do get a lot of bang for your buck in this because there are 3 envelopes, and while 3 may not sound like a big number, each envelope is going to give you about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours worth of entertainment. And so that's a lot of entertainment for, however much this game costs. So I think that's a pro for it. All right, scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. Where does Indiana Jones Cryptic come in at for you?
I think it was fun, and I would play it again, and probably suggest people that like Indiana Jones try it. It just wasn't my favorite. I'd probably give it a 6.6.
Okay, that's fair. I'm doing my best with my score to not let my love for the license here to weigh the game heavily on the higher end of the scale, because I really do enjoy Indiana Jones, and there's so much nostalgia wrapped up with this game for me. But I want to really just focus on the gameplay experience for it, and because of that, I'm going to give it a 7.2. For me, there's some really clever, innovative twists to this game. Like Sam's been saying, I wish the puzzles were a little bit stronger. So that's where we come in at on Indiana Jones Cryptic, a Pathways and Puzzles Adventure, or Puzzles and Pathways Adventure. I might have got that backwards. From Funko Games. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you think about this game.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.